All right. We're back with week 2 of the Menzoberranzan update. If I had to guess, week 2 is the bye week. So most of the quests milestones, the next quest milestone is milestone 2. So they keep with the same design language. Today is probably just going to be a repeat of week 1, and the milestone is going to happen at the end of the weekly haul. So what we learned from the last update, the North Dark Reaches, we're just going to save those quests for week 5 and make it a more interesting week 5. So probably not going to experience any new audio or anything that we can hear, maybe even voice acting for that matter. To speed things up for the bye week, we did the dailies. So we stacked 3 dailies. And we didn't do the encounter, the weeklies from last week, because those weeklies are pretty extra 9 yards kind of thing, where yeah, see, even going through the repeatables, how they introduced the weekly halfway instead of just adding it in the beginning like some of the other ones. Well, it's all right. It's just the first week, so we're gonna get this weekly done alongside that. And then encounters they're scaling to a point where I see where they're going for, where a lot of the HEs and stuff kind of require group play, but again, most of the rewards and any form of progression does not promote group play. So generally speaking, if you are someone who is like 9 out of 10 of the players who come to this game instead of the 1 out of 10, maybe 1 out of 10, it's probably a lot higher, who are able to gather groups and already strong enough or have a lot of resources, don't really need to concern themselves. They can probably do these alone, really, or in smaller groups. But anyways, let's see how quickly we can get week 2, the repeat week, done. It's an automatic 4 out of 10. Obviously, it's below average. Having not even a subtle change for a live service game, having each week progressively introduce something is kind of an expectation for a major content update, at least once a week. So let's see. It used to be kind of like that, I think. There's a milestone each week. It used to be 4 weeks where each milestone occurs every week. And then they have something that extends through bootstrapping. Alright, so let's turn these in. That should get us the first weekly, which we don't have any new things this week. So let's see how quickly we can wrap the 3 characters we have. So you get 3% for turning in the quest. And then we'll save the quest line for next time. Yeah, you only get 93. Okay, you get 3 to 5%. It's maybe like 3.5. All right. How much does that give us? Okay, I had to make sure I still had the 18. Man, that's 6 each. Rough. Okay, it's still gonna take a while. Not the engaging kind of fun while. I mean, we can see if we can pick up a train or something. How we're doing this. Interesting zoning. Kill demons, demon slayer, demon summoner, so that's north of town. Save warriors. I think warriors are the ones that sit around tied on the ground. Of course, the guy is doing the same thing, and that's why I just spent 5 minutes looking for nothing. Because warriors are still, for whatever reason, solo questing is still tied to one instance, not individually coded. Not a modern standard, obviously. It's one of the double edges of the design. A bit of old hat. Personally, not my favorite. Just having all of them individually layered on top of each other is more desirable for these type of things. See, now you're just racing against the other person. And if you're someone who's like, what the, oh, yeah, the weekly thing. So even on Tuesdays, you're basically, you spend more time roaming for an area that doesn't coincide with another player than actually doing the task. This is also why I do Tuesdays and not Mondays. Because Mondays you just sit there and wait. Sit there roaming nearly double the amount of time. Not my favorite design choice, however, it is legacy. So this design is legacied in by whatever systems they have. If you're gonna provide solo performance rewards, keep your layers and your stuff coherent, right? Or consistent with the design. Layer all the things into a solo thing. This mixed bag cross-talking between requiring party play when you don't encourage party play or incentive party play will be a very, very constant reminder. Adulterating the experience both ways. If you want to encourage party play, then, you know, half measures tend to be viewed unfavorably. Gotta pull all the stops. This is a half measure. Actually, heroic encounters in general are half measures. If anything, rare drops from heroic encounters being party oriented probably go a long way too. I think we're supposed to kill demons, right? For summoners. Quest stacking is one of those little touches that is absolutely a staple in live service games. The not necessarily, they don't have to be necessarily creative or rewarding in the sense, just the idea of quest stacking and making it very efficiently laid out and circuit based. Rearranging your stuff to promote circuit is a very dopamine friendly design choice, and it doesn't necessarily involve an increased demand on resources. Some of these quests do stack up properly, but when they stack up properly, they feel great. But then since it's randomized, when it doesn't stack up, which will happen half the time, sort of, it brings back the terrible feeling, or the less attention to detail feeling. So it's something to consider. Quest stacking in general is a very rewarding process. You go out, you do tons of little things add up, and the feedback is great. It kind of reproduces the like gacha game feedback, only these are consistent rewards. They don't have to be large either. You can convert the feeling on consistent small rewards. Something as simple as just seeing quests complete back to back to back because you did a long haul on it, on the quests. They're sticking to a structure. It's more like 2-2, like pairs, and probably it's gonna go up to 6. So 6 pairs, 1 weekly. I mean 2 weeklies, the same weeklies. And then probably 3 story instances, just like Northside Reach is. So it will get slightly faster. Slightly faster on week 2 and on, or week 3 and on. However, because they locked weekly hauls, the dopamine response will be less because you're gonna finish it quicker, but it'll only remind you that you're getting less. That's kind of how the negative sentiments are with the lack of progression feel when the reward doesn't also increase proportionally to the time investment over time. It actually decreases in this design. For some, hopefully not myself, we don't know yet, but those new weeklies, I hope I'm able to solo them without some side inconvenience, because that's the solo experience. But for many now, those who actually speak and interact with this content differently from myself, they have to sit there and look for assistance to play solo content, which for someone like me and other players who played this for a while, it's considered solo content, but the design accommodates party play. However, there isn't anything that helps that. Most of it is just more solo play. Even the gear, even the prep work, the incentivizing party play is non-existent in the campaign stuff. One might say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of deal, I suppose. So now we're doing the doubles. So just the 2 pairs. I think we've gotten the whole grouping. Yeah, we've gotten the whole set now. Okay, so we're at 70 thanks to the one activities weekly, but now we don't have the activity weekly anymore. So week 3 is gonna use the milestone quest to get more currency in the day, within the day. I did finish the heroic encounters once on my paladin, with seeing how it organized, and most of the heroic encounters are kind of rough this time around, so it does require a group, which perhaps that requirement will solidify the acceptance that heroic encounters moving forward will require even the smaller ones. The minor heroic encounters will probably require at least 2 people to not be an inconvenience outside of the players who consider them exceptionally resourced. I still would probably just pick up 1 or 2 people, or hop on with 1, or like drop in on 1 or 2 people randomly doing it. It just is working uphill if you're going for completion time. And as expected, week 1, when I saw the feedback, or people who are very vocal, the minor loud voices over the last 6 days since week 1's rotation into this update, same comments, more disparaging complaints about the difference between elitists and the casual, but that is to be expected. It's the design language constantly separates them. Instead of attempting to continue to bridge the gap keeps getting bigger. It's difficult to ignore and difficult to defend constructively. Like, the weapons are there, the design is there, absolutely. Just where it's distributed or how it's distributed is antagonistic. So they definitely have the tools. We'll see with the end of this trilogy or dual module theme. Perhaps they will swap up the design and distribution. The trial marks the end, typically, of a cycle, or what I call a block. So this is the Underdark, like the Drow block that the story was made for. So next module, which will be a very, unfortunately, too long for standards time, we'll probably see another 10% drop in player base due to lull period. That's fairly reasonable. 10%. And see what the news cycle is. I like to think it's going to take a new direction The things in between blocks like this tend to be experimental. Like the Dragon Slayer thing was the in between. Communication's pretty lacking, so most of this is just conjecture at this point. You just guess. I don't necessarily brainstorm what the future content or visuals or reward should be. Personally, that, in my opinion, leaving that up to the developers, provide an incentive for the developers to be creative and unrestricted by expectations by the player base, and it subjectively allows one to be pleasantly surprised or angrily disappointed, which is a nice thing in my opinion, because playing video games, you're playing for novel experiences. You're not playing to meet your expectations, in my opinion. That's new experiences are exploratory in nature. I think did we get dropped in? Yeah, we got dropped in a populated zone as one of the few features of this game. You want people to complete quests, a lot of them sometimes, maximalizing and nickel and diming the playtime, but your algorithm and the way you match zones is pro pragmatism, which is to reduce the number of instances created as to not tax the system too much, but that's at the expense of the pragmatism of players. It's from a technical standpoint, it's very understandable that you want to group people onto the same layer. It serves as reducing the load while at the same time encouraging party play. But all the solo questing discourages party play. It doesn't incentive party play. If you scale down the requirements for non-overlapping or overlapping assets and require a party play requirement, that may be a little acceptable. So like kill one thing that requires 2 people. That's scaling down the requirements so it doesn't feel like solo play, and incentivize people to get together to do something quicker, not increasing the amount or have people do what I'm doing right now, which basically roam around for interactables. Although this one is fine. I think this one might not be overlapping. It's a mixed bag. Some are overlapping, some aren't. I'm not entirely sure if that's a legacy thing as well, where certain codes were made at a certain time and certain events were not. So it's a bit half and half. Whenever it's not overlapping, for me personally, it's generally viewed positively. Because you don't view your fellow players that you hang out with in the overworld hub as obstacles to your efficiency. Unfortunately, almost everything, even emotionally in this game, has produced a riff on party play. Party play just paints all an extremely selfish environment. So what happens is whenever party play is happening, it's not about how, it's generally not focused on how to succeed, it's focused on who is deficient, which is pretty unfortunate. It's largely why I continue to play this game, but not necessarily for party play. I would say 80% of the time, 70% of the time. Most of the party play experience deals with focusing on who is the weakest link, as opposed to how well the group worked. And it's largely attached to how the metrics are introduced, or the lack of metrics, and how the metrics are displayed. A lot of that deals with that. Privilege information is a great one too. Yeah, like this is non-overlapping, so this is fine. Like location interactions are pretty good. When it comes to interacting with actual objects, like spawn objects, that's gonna need a little work, in my opinion. Scarcity in quest items is non-negotiable. I don't think there are very few pros to making scarcity of quest items. So, as far as I remember, this quest requires you to just find the... Oh, that's not it. Find the light posts. You're looking for light posts. Oh, actually, you can put them in these guard towers. Remember this. You can put listening devices in these guard posts. This quest isn't too bad. I think let's see, of the repeatables... Of the repeatables... Nah, they're all pretty okay this time around. There's no boulette incident. I'll call it the boulette incident. The heck? How come I can't put it? Oh, that's right. Or the Arachnomancer incident. Alright, I think we're done with our first character. Hopefully. 6 times 4, 24. No, I think we're still short, actually. Yeah, we're still short. Oh. 2 weeks. It's the little things, you know? It's a live service game. Focusing on little things is not very resource heavy per se. It's a lot less resource heavy than going big. Okay, so we do 1 of these, and then we're back to 3 because of our companion, which doesn't, again, weekly hauls 100. It diminishes the value of having a companion. I just wanted to test it out in this update. 10% doesn't appreciably or pragmatically help with story progress, which it really wasn't intended to, I suppose. It's more for the farming currency deal. As far as the feeling of progressing through a story, companion's optional. It barely... 10% of a small number, or a small whole number, is still a small whole number. Right. This is the limited interaction. At least I think. I'm pretty sure the warriors are non-overlapping. Yeah, they're non-overlapping. So probably the warriors are on the bottom of questline. Not questline, repeatables. And demon summoners is probably next. Actually, demon summoners is probably the worst, since they're roaming targets. I mean, you'll know where they are, so in the end, these are just nitpicky things. The 4 out of 10 has very little to do with whether they should or should not change the stuff I'm picking out. Just, it's fair to note how they work. I'm indifferent, really. Once you learn the locations, you just go through it. I'm definitely a person who prefers working on things little at a time over a longer period. So with all these little things that I point out, if you systematically slowly working at them, eventually you'll get to a product that is nice, or an uptrending product. At the moment, this is not an uptrending product. It's more like trying to meet their own standards, but their own standards don't align with the standards of uptrending products. They're just preventing the downtrend. Yep. Or oh wait, I guess we can stack. This is a train, so we just happen to be in a train moment. We'll just grab the encounters. Which one is this called? The Forge. You just blitz the Forge. Don't want to get hit. Oh, we have to kill 4 instances of these. Okay. And then got the other. Okay. Oh yeah, Forge Master, right? I wonder how much that hurts. Not too bad. Okay. $60, 40%. So you still have to do 3 heroic encounters. But we'll just follow these guys. Grab it if we can. Threads of power. I don't remember the names of... Oh, and this map takes a little getting used to. The pathing is very, very mazy. Especially the southeast corner. There's one way in and one way out. I mean, it looks nice. And I get the theme, but mechanically, it's very undesirable. You can make things that look like mazes, but with bridging alcoves to make it less of a trek to get around. The southeast corner is horrendous. compared to the rest of the map. Like this thing right here, this section right here, one way in and one way out. Right here. Like it's completely blocked. No translation. And all these things don't have bridges either. Many of them don't. So when you're doing something like this, when you're training, this is where you learn how to path. The environment and the map is absolutely gorgeous, in my opinion. Like it's fantastic. Just pragmatically speaking, the map layout is not. It's rather the North Dart Reaches one was quite a bit better. Not substantially better, but quite a bit better. It was just following for 5 encounters. This called Wash, right? What do you do here? Just kill eggs. Separate eggs. Is there any way we can tag something, please? Or not? No. I still can't tag anything. So there's a really distinct possibility. Oh, no, never mind. I haven't done this heroic encounter, so it's just so all the minor ones are pretty alright for training. Alright. So we grab that. We're not turning that in. It'll just be for next week. So now we're gonna grab other things. We'll finish these two. Not too bad. For next week. So we can just do the quest line, see if it's interesting. Milestone 2 has probably the first solo instance, and this poison thing is kind of annoying. It's been there though. Where it prevents you from interacting when you're outside of combat. Okay. And we're done, and we're gonna have to repeat. Okay. Try to get the yep. The DOTs that keep you in combat all the time. When you're out of combat, or when combat ends. Yeah, the Warriors is definitely second worst. Very close to Demon Summoner. Not too bad. Okay. So we turned this in. Right. I'll get us 100. We unlock the milestone. And then we don't do anything because of this. Easily one of the counterintuitive, I guess, dopamine sapping design choice. We'll open lockboxes later. I think I have 8. Now we move on to the next tune. Second tune. This one we have both our activities done, probably, and heroic encounters from last week. Got the doubles. And because of these two right here, I think we 36. Oh yeah. 26. Yeah. Sorry, 26. So we just need to do one cycle of this, but I think I'm just gonna prep another cycle as well. So ultimately we have to do 2 cycles, which lines up 2 cycles without with the weeklies, same structure. Which are pretty much all the repeatables in a random pool. So we'll go through the entire pool. Most of the pool. I think there's actually more than that. They get introduced later. The pool kind of expands a little with each milestone. And of course, I'm not keeping track of most of these things, so some of the stuff I say may not be accurate. They're close enough. Tracking these things aren't really specifically a learning experience. So I'm very indifferent to keeping track what the specific numbers are. It's inconsequential. Guard posts. Just running for the guard posts. And hitting the guard posts with some of these quest pairings are pretty satisfying. They stack pretty well. Yeah, definitely the soldiers. The soldiers are rearing just off the beaten path a little bit. Not bad, but very noticeably not stacked well. Are there soldiers in the... No. That guy's probably after that. I'll leave it to them. Only reason they would be killing that thing. And now we're back to the whole sharing layered content for solo. Sure, there's 2 alcoves in here. Add to the route. Well, whatever it is, it's gone. Because of the same comment. And just non-functional. Yep. And that's the feedback. Just added another 5 minutes. Route breaking. Very dissatisfying. And then now we TP. No, 15 minutes. This one you can sneak. Visual bug. Yeah, that fire flashing, visual bug. Oh, this is a dead end. I think taking out the quest recycling pairing or randomness and just have them pair up on double stacked quests. You can, I mean, honestly, reducing the currency output by half, but just separate them into quest stacking might actually do the trick too. So give the illusion that quest completion is more rapid. But it's still the same pace. always a great, generally a nice feeling when you're tasking up very rapidly. Okay, so we're gonna do these for next week. 98 with the, yeah, see, that's what I mean. You don't even get +1. You don't get +1 on tasks when if you were to expect that your companion is providing some sort of convenience for you by having additional currency. The number of tasks still stay the same. It's just for stacking farmable currency, which as a player that isn't playing something that's supposed to end up in party play, but none of that currency actually goes towards party play, it's irrelevant. It's a poor selling point. And you might be thinking, well, you can always do it at your own pace, right? You can do this content at your own pace, and then you can join in the party play at your own pace. That's not how this game works. When the party play, you have to be synced with the limited population of party players. If you delay too far back, you lose the opportunity of having consistent party play because the population is so small now, or small enough that there's a window when stuff like that is available, and it's a very limited window. Especially the tolerance level goes down over time. So the earlier you are, the more psychologically tolerant the privilege in this game are. The privilege players are far more tolerant in the early phase. But the requirements require party play stuff that you have to be ahead of the game. So when you play this game, you're kind of investing, which kind of works for the business model, but you're kind of investing a year into it before you can become current. Or you can invest right away. I would say probably $600. Maybe. Then you'll be current overnight, 3 months. Probably 3 months. Then you can just join in the party play as it happens. For trials, you have like a month. When it becomes accessible, you have like a month. And then anything past that month, the lull period hits. And organizing becomes a nightmare. And sentiments drop, tolerance drop. So whenever you ask or try to organize from experienced players, those individuals tend to be the ones that are incredibly toxic. Toxic in a sense that, yeah, they went through the ringer and did all the stuff, but this is not a community filled with experienced players that are instructional. They're people who are so used to privilege that kind of find it reasonable that they would feel that way. Privilege breeds ignorance, for better or for worse. It's a luxury for those who are successful, but also takes away from their ability to instruct. Oh, wait. What am I doing? I was thinking of the wrong quest. Okay. Demons and listening devices tend to line up pretty alright. Yeah, most of it lines up pretty well in the pairs. I guess you can probably just fill threads of power for demon kills instead of having to roam around. Oh wait, it's a drider. That doesn't count. Listening device, great. Pretty nice. Okay. Of course. Something keeping you in combat for excessively long time. Excessively meaning like it takes up a big chunk. It might seem like a short time, like, oh, it only took a second or two, but you're in combat for 5 seconds. That's like 25%, 20 to 25% of your time that you remain in combat disproportionately to when you're actually in combat. So certainly in isolation, it feels like a very short time. You can rationalize it's just 1 second. But combat takes like 4 or 5 seconds. And then you repeat that over and over again. That time adds up. Yeah, like that's like 3 seconds. And if a DOT accidentally landed on you, it'll keep you in battle for a second. If not 2 seconds. This is investing forward though. We're doing the deed for next week. Little at a time. It's the little things that stack up for efficiency. All right. And then we lose one to overflow. Just for the 2 currency. There's a Papega bonus. All right. Off to the 3rd one. That companion. Number 3. This one we have to do 3 circuits. Because we didn't do the encounter. The heroic encounter weekly. Unless we randomly bump into it. Bootstrapping 3 times in a row kind of helps with figuring or filling out the paths that I would want to take to optimize completion. Listening device. I was wrong. These don't overlap. So basically that guy just set me back. Yeah, these don't overlap. And if I take this from the guy and this person needs this thing. Okay, so those interactables do not overlap. That's kind of annoying. Actually, it's pretty bad. Those are not layered. I wonder if these are layered now. That guy's not going to walk in the same direction I am because they noticed that I was taking something. That's kind of the anti. Oh, yeah. See, that guy's just going to run and take the warrior, but they're going to walk away. Oh, no. Never mind. Oh, that one's already interacted with. They just ran by. The symptom of non-layered content. All they did was come by, look if this is interacted, just like I did, and then on their merry way. Just multiply that by a couple years of design, and you have an entire community filled with people who are optimizing, and then that's it. So whenever a new player comes along and wants to do content, it's not optimized because it's a GIF. When you're giving, you're sacrificing optimization. So it becomes a permanent gatekeeping community. And to turn a game, in my opinion, back into the growth phase, you kick the gate down at the expense of growth, at the prospect of growth. But it's a big risk because when you kick the gate down, you're gonna lose what you're gonna antagonize, and you hope that the loyalty breeds deep enough that it doesn't cause a recession, while at the same time you're making a gamble on something really great, something that will bring in more than the overhead on losing your gatekeepers. The way this mod and the last mod was designed, I am very confident that that's not the case, that they believe in their product enough that they're willing to kick the gate down to embrace their product. Perhaps the next cycle. This is the end of this cycle. Demons and listening devices. Okay. Oh, and it's been a week since the normalization of the companion changes. Effectively, not much has changed. Just a quality of life boost for the newer, bringing up most of the companions as intended. Like the companions that are less used and not in line with the others. So the effect was achieved well. I think it matched what was said. Regrettably, that has very little to do with me. So I'm indifferent. Since I'm an established player, it had very little effect. It's a quality of life update, not a content update. I think going this way, going towards these two clusters, work a lot faster. The west ones are not too hot. Someone's already been through here. Yep, someone's been through here. Really difficult to see. Okay. And line them up. There's the DOT. 3 seconds of my time. 4, 5 seconds. 6. It's a dead end. No, those quest zones don't actually tell you about the guard posts or the listening devices or the demons. We can use that. To our advantage. Oh, there it is. Right. I didn't see any trains. Wait, what? Wow. Okay. is it? Supplies and loyalists. Explosions and demon summon. Oh, someone's been through here. Fine by me. Oh. Not fine anymore. We took out guard post. Oh, nope. Someone went through the guard post. Hmm. What am I doing? I know what I'm doing. Instant switching. You can interact with the same. No, you can't. Yeah, you can't interact with the same locations either. Okay. 3 more. Bring away. Lots of chatter on zone. Okay. So it's summoner. To go look. Actually, you want to go on the outside. At least 2 on the outside. Where squash is. I thought there was one here. No? Oh, that's kind of unfortunate. I'm looking for Master Temple of the Spider, Masterworks plus Wrap, still a thing. This update was an opportunity for them to, in my opinion, remediate that artificial requirements. You know, instead, in this rotation, both the dungeon and the trial are optional. Spend your resources trying to introduce a new dungeon, a new trial, and it just becomes a side note. And then every time someone does the non-master version, they're constantly getting negative feedback on getting reminded of how inaccessible the actual content is. Person's been looking for that one tank for a very long time. Plenty of tanks that would do it. If they understood that that's just an artificial requirement. Dang it. Of course. You know, actually. Nope. Rings are master dependent too. You deal too. I forgot I didn't realize I should be looking for rings. Wow. So they... Interesting. Nope. Keep putting it behind stuff. Just keep putting it behind stuff. Those rings are fine. They're solo things. Also, making a mount that has a team or a party play oriented skill behind a lockbox, and introduction of theme-oriented mounts as a luxury item for the gatekeepers. Waiting for the plus mount requirement. Like, oh hey, you wanna play? All right, so this weapon, like we have a requirement. Here's your entry. This weapon, this companion, this mount. Thanks, appreciate it. Like, well, I mean, I'm a new player. I'm doing it to get there. Like, well, that's too bad. That's just what the game requires. It's not that civilized, actually. That's the way I just sounded. That would be polite. That would be kind of nice. Honestly, I would be okay with that if people were actually that polite. But instead, it's more like, well, try harder next time, scrub, farm better, come back in a year, and maybe we'll let you in. And then you have the deal breaker. The requirement requires the player to be experienced as well. And then that just removes all of it. So once the new players finally has the resources to maybe buy their ticket into the rest of the content, they get slapped with, oh, you're not experienced. Mm-hmm. The new trial looks pretty alright though. We're doing our usual random solo queues as per usual, and then we saw the non-master version of this thing called Zemnitz Reliquary. I did see all the patterns, but you can do it without getting hit by any of the patterns. But I can see them just one-shotting everyone though, just walking around, seeing them getting one-shotted even in the non-master version. It's not very conducive to it's not very conducive to these types of players. We're not talking about players who react and observe, or we're talking about players that react. They don't observe most of the time. So remembering things might be a tall ask. Remembering things through trial and error. Reactionary players do not get great feedback from pattern. Remember, bootstrapping for pattern information. Typically. Like when someone gets a great example of that is when someone gets hit, they dodge after getting hit. That's reactionary. Gotta be very accustomed to playing games a very specific way. Do not be a reactionary player. Gotta be a preemptive player. Anticipatory. We can just go to the guard post. Yeah, it's probably faster just to go to guard post. Yeah, like here. Just start at the north entrance. Even though it's not highlighted, yeah, the listening device doesn't highlight most of the guard posts, so that's pretty solid. Run along the guard post. I should kill those two things. Someone emptied all the guard posts. I'm just running along there. Quick and painless. I miscounted. I thought these were valid too. Maybe not? Huh. No, they're definitely not valid. Huh. We still gotta do one more circuit. And then we open our week's worth of lockboxes. And hopefully get something, I guess. It should complete the weekly, I think, yeah. Actually, wait, did I go over? I went over. Well, honestly, that's okay. That's okay, actually. We just need to do delivery and I wasn't keeping track. We could have saved that, I guess, for next week. We went over by a little bit. We had 26. So 12. We went over by like 13. That's a little bit of a feels bad. So I guess, oh, we would need to turn in just one because it would be 98 with the turn in. That's all right. Good enough. Let there be food. Web is keeping me in combat. We'll do our random queues today. Looking for a tank. Same dude. And that dude has been looking. For the last 30 minutes. Alright. So we actually prepped quite a bit for next week, for week 3. Let's see if we can end up with the RTQ. I guess you get 3 times the currency. We gotta move all our peeps back to Protector's Enclave. Derogatory content in PE. Cool. Yeah, we'll just solo queue as per usual and see if we land on it, just to see it. Although it's an auto quit for most people already, for the random queuers. One and a half hours, not too bad. All right. I gave it 5 minutes. All right. That concludes week 2. Exciting. Just like week 1. So it loses a point for not doing anything about it from last time. All right, I'm gonna switch gears.